26. Peace and harmony are maintained in the country in Amitabha-Recitation. Not only that we will reap the benefits, the whole family is illuminated in Amitabha Buddha's lights, protected by the Buddha. One person recites Namo Amitabha, the whole family will reap the blessings. Not only the whole family gets benefits, even the country and the whole world will dwell in peace and multiple bliss. The 26 benefits which are mentioned refer to the supreme benefits in Amitabha Recitation. Below are the explanations that Amitabha Recitation is not only supreme, it is very easy. If it is very difficult, then it is not supreme. 27. No restrictions in time in Amitabha Recitation. In Amitabha Recitation, there is no restrictions in time, while other Dharma doors are restricted in time. 28. No restrictions in potential in Amitabha Recitation. In Amitabha Recitation, the root potential of living beings is not restricted. Whatever kind of root potential he is, he can attain a rebirth. The other Dharma doors has restrictions in root potential. The one with good potential can cultivate, but the one with bad potential cannot cultivate. The superior root nature can cultivate, but the inferior ones cannot cultivate. The wise men can cultivate, but the deluded men cannot cultivate. 29. No restrictions in conditions in Amitabha Recitation. There is no taboo in causes and conditions, the location of practice. But in the practice of the sagely path Dharma door, there are many taboos. If we are not careful, we are committing sins. But if we recite Namo Amitabha verbally to seek a rebirth in the Western world of ultimate bliss, we will not be committing sins in whatever situation. There is no taboo, there are only benefits. General conclusion. All the practices are incomparable to Amitabha Buddha Recitation. Below are the discussions based on the sutra passages and the teachings of the patriarchs. In general, the one practice of Amitabha Recitation far surpasses the myriad practices. 2. An explanation with evidences from the sutra passages. 1. In Amitabha Recitation, great and unsurpassed benefits are reaped. In the Sutra of Immeasurable Lifespan, the section on circulation, Shakyamuni Buddha has entrusted Maitreya Bodhisattva. On hearing the name of that Buddha, a man gives rise to a thought of joy and excitement. You should know that such a man has reaped the greatest benefits. He is indeed repleting with the unsurpassed merits and virtues. The meaning is very clear. When a man listens to the name of Namo Amitabha and gives rise to joy and excitement, even as little as a thought, and he recites this name, Shakyamuni Buddha told Maitreya Bodhisattva, you should know that such a man has reaped the greatest benefit. He is replete with the unsurpassed merit and virtues. What is the greatest benefit which is mentioned in the Sutra of Immeasurable Lifespan? It is the benefit to attain a rebirth to accomplish Buddhahood. There are great and small benefits in the Buddha Dharma of the Great Vehicle. While the accomplishment of Buddha is the most supreme benefit, the greatest benefit, there are profound and shallow merits and virtues. The merits and virtues of the Bodhisattva are not as good because above him there are the merits and virtues of the Buddha. The merits and virtues of the Buddha is known as the unsurpassed merits and virtues. The reciters of Namo Amitabha Buddha are replete with the merits and virtues of the Buddha, so it is known as the unsurpassed merits and virtues. If we, the mundane men with sinful obstacles, wish to cultivate other Dharma doors, it would be impossible for us to leave the triple realm. What is more so to attain Buddhahood? Even if we manage to leave the triple realm, it is still considered a small benefit in comparison to the reward of Buddhahood. What is more, if we only manage to obtain some blessings and bliss of man and devas, these are the small benefits, not the ultimate ones. In the paragraph on the three grades from the Sutra of Immeasurable Lifespan, Shakyamuni Buddha told us about Amitabha Recitation and the bringing forth of the Bodhi mind, the cultivation of merits and virtues, the renunciation of family and abandoning of desires, the practice of becoming a monk, the burning of incense and offerings of flowers and making offerings to the triple gem, the practice of some of the mentioned good practices. Even though Shakyamuni Buddha has mentioned Amitabha Recitation and the various practices, at the end on the section of circulation, he only instructed on Amitabha Recitation, praising Amitabha Buddha and Amitabha Buddha Recitation. He says that this is to reap the greatest benefit, the unsurpassed merits and the unsurpassed virtues. This is to explain that the other practices are replete with the benefits of merits and virtues. They are still incomparable to Amitabha Recitation. They are only of minor benefits, not ultimate. Only Amitabha Recitation is of great and unsurpassed merits and virtues and benefits. 2. In Amitabha Recitation, limitless blessings and goodness are reaped. In the sutra, it is thus stated, if a man makes offerings of the 7 gems in the 4 worlds to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, the conditional enlightened ones, to the Shravakas, his blessings are very great. But the blessings are still incomparable to a man who can exhort others to recite Namo Amitabha Buddha once, or Namo Amitabha once. His blessings are more supreme than the former man. If there is a man who brings all the jewel treasury in the world, the gold, silver, lapis lazuli, pearls, agate, to make offerings to the Buddha, the Bodhisattvas, the conditional enlightened ones, the Shravakas, he reaps lots of blessings. But in comparison, he is still incomparable to exhort others to recite Namo Amitabha Buddha once. If you exhort others to recite Namo Amitabha once, your blessings surpass the blessings in making the offerings of 7 gems in the world to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It is because the name Namo Amitabha Buddha enables us to plant the good roots, ultimately, to accomplish Buddhahood, ultimately. Even though we may reap abundant blessings by offering all the 7 gems of the world to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are still measurable with limits, while the accomplishment of Buddhahood is immeasurable and limitless. In the Nirvana Sutra, there is this passage. The Buddha told the great king, if we open the great treasury store, and within 1 month we give them to all living beings, the merits and virtues thus reaped is still incomparable to a man who recites the Buddha's name once. His merits and virtues far surpasses the former man. There is no comparison in them. Very often a man might feel this way. The exclusive recitation of the Buddha's name is too simple. The merits and virtues are too little. By comparing the sutra passages, we are not the king. We are only the citizens. We cannot afford to give donation continually for 1 month. We only give once in a while. We are not giving to all living beings. We only give a little, creating a little merits and virtues. Even then, we still feel that what we have done has already far surpassed Amitabha-Recitation. The Buddha has thus spoken here, giving out from the treasury store of the country for a month. The merits and virtues reaped by giving the treasures to all living beings are still incomparable to a man who can recite Namo Amitabha Buddha once. His merits and virtues far surpasses the former man with no comparison. This is spoken by the Buddha's golden mouth. Please believe and have faith in the Buddha's words and abide by them. Abide by them. From the Ekatara Agama, it is thus stated, a man makes the 4 types of offerings to all the living beings in Jambudvipa, while another man recites the Buddha's name in the time span of cow milking. His merits and virtues surpasses the former man. It is indeed inconceivable. Jambudvipa is the earth we are staying. The 4 types of offerings refer to clothes, food and drink, bedding and medicine, the daily necessities. You provide all these necessities to all living beings. But if there is a man who recites the Buddha's name, even if in the short time span of milking the cow, his merits and virtues far surpasses the former merits and virtues by inconceivable times. In the great treatise on the perfection of wisdom, Nagarjuna Bodhisattva has given the following analogy. For example, there is a man who can travel 1,000 miles a day for 1,000 years from the day he was born. The land he walks past is filled up with the 7 gems which he used as offerings to the Buddha, but he is still incomparable to a man who can recite Namo Amitabha Buddha 1 time in the future evil world. His blessings far surpasses the former man. There is a man who can travel 1,000 miles a day for 1,000 years. All of you know how to calculate. 1 day you walk 1,000 miles, then in 10 days he would have walked 10,000 miles. For 100 days he would have walked 100,000 miles. In a year there are 365 days. How many miles are there? He would have walked 365 to 100,000 miles. This man walks for 1,000 years. He would have rounded the world 100 billion times. The land is filled up with the 7 gems, which are used as the offerings to the Buddha. He can walk 1,000 miles each day for 1,000 years. The roads he walks past is filled with 7 gems. He takes them as to make offerings to the Buddha, not the mundane men, not the Arahant, not the Bodhisattvas. He is making offerings to the Buddha of perfect, proper enlightenment. Such merits and virtues are inconceivable, immeasurable, limitless. But he is still incomparable to a man who in the future evil worlds is able to recite Namo Amitabha 1 time. His blessings are much more supreme than the former man. The man walks 1,000 miles every day for 1,000 years. The ground is filled up with the 7 gems, while with the offerings of these gems to the Buddha, his blessings and virtues are still incomparable to a man who recites Namo Amitabha Buddha once in the future evil worlds. The former passage refers to a man who in his life has made so much offerings of precious 7 gems to the Buddha piously. In the future evil world, living beings are habitually evil in nature. Their evil karma is increased greatly. Even though they are reciting Namo Amitabha Buddha, they can only recite with a dispersed mind, not in concentration. Most people will feel that such a practice is incomparable to the former merits and virtues of offerings of 7 gems to the Buddha. But what the Buddha has said is contrary to the above views. All of you are very great in blessings and virtues. The condition to attain a rebirth in the Western land is fulfilled. Even though our merits and virtues are very little, the Buddha's name is inclusive of all good roots, all merits and virtues. The Buddha gives this analogy in accord with what we can understand. In fact, this analogy is still incomparable to the merits and virtues of Amitabha-Recitation. Great Master Lianchi said, upholding the Buddha's name is the highest among all goodness, the highest blessing among all blessings. In Amitabha Buddha Sutra, the Buddha has thus said, you cannot attain a rebirth in that land with little good roots. You cannot hear this sutra or attain a rebirth in that land with little good roots, little blessings, and little virtues. Some people misunderstand this teaching in the sutra passage. They feel that Amitabha-Recitation is little good roots, little blessings, and little virtues. They say, you only recite Namo Amitabha. This is of little good roots, little blessings, and little virtues. You must cultivate other dharma doors to get abundant good roots, blessings, and virtues. They treat the cultivation of a mundane man with leakage as higher than the merits and virtues of Amitabha Buddha's name. This is because they do not know what is genuine and what is fake in the Buddha Dharma. Neither do they know about the great or small in merits and virtues. They just don't know. From this sutra passage, we can understand this. Only the recitation of Namo Amitabha is the genuine good roots with abundant blessings and virtues. Amitabha recitation, or Nyanpho, is the highest goodness of all goodness, the highest blessings of all blessings. This is because the Buddha's name is replete with limitless blessings and virtues that resemble the empty space. The other Dharma practices are also with lots of blessings and virtues, which resemble the high mountains, the great oceans. But these are describable with limitation. Though the mountain is so high, the ocean is so wide, they are incomparable to empty space. There is no comparison. While Namo Amitabha Buddha is the most supreme, as it fills up the whole empty space, pervades the whole Dharma realm. All the good roots, blessings, and virtues are inclusive in it. Besides, Namo Amitabha is without leakage, with purity which enables us to leave births and deaths to certify to nirvana. This is incomparable. Do not harbor an inferior mindset while reciting Namo Amitabha, feeling that I am afraid if it is not enough if I just recite the Buddha's name. It is enough. 3. The blessings and goodness in Amitabha recitation are the same as the Buddha. Below are the Dharma words spoken by Great Master O Yi. How great are the good roots, the blessings and virtues of Amitabha recitation. They are equivalent to the Buddha. The Buddha pervades the whole empty space, the whole Dharma realm. We will also reap as many good roots, as much blessings and virtues. With the great vows of the Buddha, they become the causes of abundant good roots for living beings. With the Buddha's great practices, they become the conditions of abundant blessings and virtues for living beings. By upholding the Buddha's name, the good roots, blessings, and virtues are equivalent to the Buddha. So every recitation is replete with abundant good roots, blessings, and virtues. In Amitabha Sutra, it is thus stated, with the little causes and conditions of good roots, blessings, and virtues, we cannot attain a rebirth in that land. The good roots are the causes, while the blessings and virtues are the conditions. This is known as the causes and conditions of good roots, blessings, and virtues. Great Master Oyi is thus said, even the good roots of an Arahant is not enough to attain a rebirth in the Western Pure Land, as he has not brought the expansive Bodhi mind. His causes are not enough. A Bodhisattva has brought forth the great and expansive Bodhi mind. His good roots are in abundance, but his blessings and virtues are not enough, as they are still not perfect. Only Amitabha, who at the causal ground as Dharmakara Bhikshu, has brought forth the 48 vows and transferred the merits and virtues to us all living beings. When we abide by the vows of the Buddha and recite his name to attain a rebirth in the Pure Land, the Buddha's vows become our vows. The Buddha wants us to attain a rebirth in his land, and we want to go to his land. When we can bring forth this mind to desire for a rebirth, this is not planting of a cause. This cause does not come forth from us, a mundane man of five stupidity. It comes forth because Amitabha has transferred his great vows to us. In this way, we can have this causal mind, a mind to seek a rebirth in the Pure Land. That is why it is said, with the great vows of the Buddha, they become the causes of abundant good roots for living beings. As it is said in the proverb, placing the mind in his stomach with total sincerity, the Buddha has called us, exhorted us repeatedly. All the afflicted living beings in the 10 directions who are transmigrating in the triple realm, who are sunken in the 6 paths, do seek to be born in my Pure Land. Please do not indulge in the 5 desires, the 6 dusts. Finally, we are willing to be born in his land. The mind which desires to attain a rebirth comes totally from the Buddha's mind when it enters our mind. That is why it is described as the pure mind of seeking a rebirth. It is also known as the confirmed mind to attain a rebirth in the Pure Land. This means the Buddha's great vows have become the abundant good roots of living beings. How about the abundant blessings and virtues? They are the great practices of Amitabha Buddha. This is as said in the Sutra of Immeasurable Lifespan, that Dharmakara Bhikshu has cultivated and fully accomplished the 6 paramitas with no arising in accord with the innate nature and various pure merits and virtues throughout the many unending kalpas for the sake of living beings. For the sake of living beings. All the merits and virtues are transferred to us, all the living beings, and become our blessings and virtues. The great vows of the Buddha, which are the good roots at the causal ground, the blessings and virtues of his great practices are all kept in the Buddha's name, Namo Amitabha, at the fruition state. With the coming together of causes and conditions, we will surely attain a rebirth in the Pure Land. Most people feel that in the attainment of a rebirth in the Pure Land, the power of the Buddha's original vows are the external conditions. We by ourselves need to plant the causes. Great Master Oyi explained that the causes and conditions for a mundane man to attain a rebirth in the Pure Land comes from the name Namo Amitabha. This is the same as the explanation given by Great Master Shandao in his explanation of the 6 syllables name. When we recite the name Namo Amitabha, all the oath and vows of Dharmakara Bodhisattva and the merits and virtues of his myriad practices of the causal ground are all inclusive in the Buddha's name. For example, the emperor in the worldly realm is with a name. What is the context of the imperial name? It contains his vows to govern the whole world, his merits and achievements in conquering all the countries. So it is not easy to get this name. All his political and military achievements are inclusive in the emperor's name. In the past, Amitabha Buddha had cultivated the path throughout the immeasurable limitless kalpas, eradicating all the Mara hindrances, cutting out all the afflictions. For the sake of living beings, he has cultivated all merits and virtues which are able to clear the karmic debts of living beings. The causes are perfected and the fruits are accomplished. So, he has become the Buddha and known as Amitabha Buddha. All his merits and virtues are condensed in the 6 syllables name. The 6 syllables name is the content of all merits and virtues. The worldly emperor is the man in possession of the imperial name. He is the same man with the imperial name. Even though he is this man, but as he has the genuine virtues, he has this imperial name. With this name, he is in possession of the actual authority to give order in the world. Amitabha has already accomplished Buddhahood. He is in possession of the genuine merits and virtues. That is why he is known as the immeasurable lights, the immeasurable lifespan. That is why he is known as Amita, the Buddha. In this name, it is inclusive of all the merits and virtues of Amitabha Buddha. All his vows and practices at the causal ground are inclusive in the name at the fruition position. Amitabha gives us his name as a transference of merits. When we recite his name in every mindfulness, the Buddha's merits and virtues will become our merits and virtues. In Amitabha-Recitation, our good roots, our blessings and virtues are the same as the Buddha, with no difference. Every recitation is replete with abundant good roots, blessings, and virtues. As every one of our recitations is replete with the abundant good roots, abundant blessings, and virtues, we will surely attain a rebirth. This explanation is exactly the same as the explanation of the Great Master Shandao. 4. Amitabha-Recitation is replete with the myriad virtues. All the merits and virtues are inclusive in Amitabha-Recitation. We often say that the 6 syllables name is the magnificent name of myriad virtues. Myriad means all, everything. For example, the myriad multitude with one mind, it does not refer to only 10,000 men. It is inclusive of all men. There is a passage from the Buddhist teaching on the Sutra of Basic Esoteric Spiritual Mantra of Amitabha. The name of Amitabha is replete with immeasurable, limitless, and inconceivable, unsurpassed merits and virtues, which are most profound, secretive, supreme, and wonderful. Why is this so? In the 3 words Ami, there is Amito, there are all the Buddhas in the 10 directions, in the 3 periods of time, all the Bodhisattvas, Shravakas, Arhat, and the Sutra, all the sutras, all the spiritual Dharani mantras, and the immeasurable practices. So the name Amitabha is the unsurpassed, genuine, ultimate great vehicle, Dharma. The name is the unsurpassed, supremely pure, ultimately wonderful conduct. It is the unsurpassed, most supreme, subtly, wonderfully Dharani. Thus, this Gatha was spoken. The word A is the Buddha in the 10 directions, in the 3 periods of time. The word Mi is all the Bodhisattvas, and the word Ta is 80,000 sagely teachings. These are inclusive in these 3 words. The 3 words Amita are replete with the merits and virtues of all Buddhas, all Bodhisattvas, Arahant, Pratika Buddhas, all the merits and virtues of the sutras, all the spiritual Dharani, the various cultivations, the immeasurable Dharma practices. Dharma Master Yongqing from the Song Dynasty has thus said, "With my heart and mouth I recite the wonderful name of one Buddha. I will reap the immeasurable merits and virtues from the causes until the fruitions as they are inclusive in the name." All the merits and virtues which are cultivated by Dharmakara Bodhisattva from the causal ground until his attainment of the proper enlightenment at the fruition ground will instantly be ours perfectly if we can recite wholeheartedly with our mouth. Great Master Lianchi has thus said, "All the proper and dependent rewards of the world of ultimate bliss are perfected in the recitation of the Buddha's name. The sea-like merits and virtues of the Buddha are also perfect once we recite his name. The adornments of the dependent reward in the world of ultimate bliss are expansive and limitless. The dependent rewards, as mentioned in the Contemplation Sutra, are the jewel trees, the jewel ponds, the jewel bungalows, and others. They are the pure states without leakage. The adorned proper rewards refer to all the Bodhisattvas, the pure and sea-like assemblies. In the Shastra of Attaining a Rebirth, 29 types of adornments are mentioned, are perfected in the recitation of the Buddha's name. As long as you recite Namo Amitabha Buddha, perfected means all are inclusive. The world of ultimate bliss is in the name. Avalokiteshvara and Mahasthamaprapta Bodhisattvas are also in the name. The sea like pure assemblies are also included in the name. The 7 jewels ponds, the water of 8 virtues are also included in the 6-syllable name. When we recite Namo Amitabha Buddha, it is equivalent to move the world of ultimate bliss, which is 10 trillion Buddha lands away before us. At that instant, all the Bodhisattva Mahasattvas are before us. The sea-like merits and virtues of the Buddha are also perfected once we recite his name. The Buddha's merits and virtues are expansive, immeasurable, and limitless, which resemble the expansive and limitless great seas. Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha, 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 Namo Amitabha.